Noah prepared the ark to the saving of his house. Noah was a preacher of righteousness. Noah was a just man. Noah walked with God. Noah was perfect. Noah was righteous. Noah was a preacher of righteousness. As it was in the days of Noah, you have to have preachers of righteousness who are just. As it was in the days of Noah, you have to have an overseer, a man of God, a bishop that's perfect. As it was in the days of Noah, you have to have a man of God, an overseer, a bishop that is righteous, like Noah was. You have to have a man of God, a bishop who's walking with God, because in the days of Noah, only a remnant was saved. Only 8. The scripture says right here that God waited in the days of Noah while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls were saved by water. The scripture uses the word few. Jesus says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. As it was in the days of Lot, Jesus said, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Few. Luke chapter 13. That remnant, that few. Luke chapter 13. The scriptures declare to you and I in Luke chapter 13, in scripture 22, on the word tonight, as it was. As it was. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, male and female, young and old, only a very small remnant is going to be saved. Only a very small remnant is going to be saved. Though the numbers be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. Jesus Christ says, enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So Jesus already knows there's only going to be few saved. You can have a church of 100 people in the church, or in the congregation, in the building, and you can only have 10 people who's the ones that's going to be saved out of the 100. In my 22 years as a bishop, the majority of the people who have come have gone. Only the remnant, the very small remnant, has stayed. You should be so encouraged tonight that you are one of the remnant. You ought to be just so excited to say, Lord, and all of the chaos that has happened in the church, you didn't let me get swept away. And now you got me here. I'm the remnant. And I say to the remnant, we got to go to work. We got to go reach the lost. You should be just elated. I'm still here. I'm one of the very small remnant. You ought to have a smile on your face. You ought to be so excited on this Friday night. You ought to be like, wow, I was here for prayer, and I was here, I'm going out soul winning, and everybody I talk to, the masses don't want to be saved. It's just that one that comes. And you be hoping when they come, you be like, woo, this is the one that's going to stay. You might be saying, please don't leave. Please stay. You know, like Sunday, we had somebody that came that I gave the word to. A young man. He was 17 years old. He sat behind one of the sisters. And when he came in, you know, I was waiting for him in the foyer. I brought him on in, and the sister who's the doorkeeper, she tried to get up. I said, I got it. And I gave him the card, and I told him, I said, listen, I said, you got a Bible? And he said, no. He said, can you give me one? I said, I gave you one. I said, now, got to keep up with me. Give you the scriptures. I saw him lean up behind one of the sisters. I know she looked back and said, oh, wow. You know, oh, okay. I know she probably said, I hope he stay. You gotta, I'm one of the remnant. I'm one of the very small remnant. Even when I first got born again. In my 7 years being under a pastor, The majority of the people that came through those 7 years, the masses left. Only a small amount stayed. And even to this day, some 22 years later, that amount that was there when I left is even smaller. A very small remnant. Few gonna be saved. You ought to be so thankful that Jesus allowed you to remain. And this is how the Master will tell you of a certainty in Matthew chapter 9, in Scripture 35, and then Matthew chapter 22. Matthew chapter 9 and Scripture 35 on the word tonight. As it was in the days of Noah, as it was in the days of Lot, so shall it also be. Jesus says in Matthew 9 and Scripture 35, the Scripture declares Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Now you see this. You see, when the church starts to grow and you get a multitude, there's the greater likelihood when you have church growth and a multitude, two things going to happen. They're going to faint and they're going to be scattered. Moses sent out 12 spies. Only 2 of them came back with a good report. Moses sent out 12 spies. Only 2 returned back with a good report. It shows you right there in the church in the wilderness that Moses had 12 men. Only 2 of them was faithful. I can identify with that. You know, I've had many men that come by, and only 1 or 2 are left. I've had many women that come by, only 3 or 4 or 5 are left. But you know, I understand there's only a remnant going to be saved. Though the number be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved.